round. They had no utility to even use. So yeah, a lot of the time they gave a lot of presence to players like Liaz, who was just able to basically open up and then finish things off in the latter rounds. I'm worried for them here, especially on a map that they don't really play. I think they played it once over the last few months, and with this new roster at least. And they did win versus Vici, but at the same time, I don't really expect to see much more from them here. And 100 Thieves, I think they've been trying to bring this into their map pool a little bit more, so I imagine they've practiced it quite a bit. We are now into our pistol round. A quick push over onto the A side, trying to pressure the CT side. TYLOO have chosen to start here even after the problems they had on Inferno. Zeta is going to be able to get himself an initial kill, but still the T side have been able to get towards that site. They don't really have anything to stop them getting the bomb down.
Well, they're also starting to run out of players as well. Grass Faction takes Freeman out. You see the 3 players trying to come in from the CT side. Taka trying to watch the back as well, so they don't really have the full information of where all the players of 100 Thieves will be. They do at least luckily have a kit in their hands, and look at Grass Faction, the perfect position to play Spoiler here. If he can hit these shots, Attacker can be up close, and is expected to be just there. And Jake is able to come in to help clean that up. It's down to JKS in a 1-on-2. The bomb luckily is planted for him, but he needs to hit these shots, and the bomb's being stuck in Zeta. Another 3K for him, and TYLOO will indeed take the pistol round.
Yeah, no, a really good retake in the end. Again, it comes down to mainly in these pistol rounds, there's not so much utility that 100 Thieves can use to hold them out. So all in all, they got the bomb plant, and then it just came down to trying to bait them into the peaks, which they did do well, and a few missed shots on the other side. So TYLOO off to a flying start. The issue is we have the same scenario as before. And 100 Thieves come in very confident with a couple of rifles. Liaz and Az are going to be the ones leading the way, and Deagle's on the rest of the players, a decent amount of utility as well. So they're basically not letting there be any break for this CT side. And as said, this is a map that I doubt we've had too much practice on if you're on the TYLOO side of things. So how are you actually going to be playing this? Of course, they've thrown themselves down that initial deep smoke that we see so regularly and get a little bit aggressive early into the round, but ultimately they have surrendered a lot of this early control.
I do like this kind of aggressive style to TYLOO though. Like force 100 Thieves to fight through. The only downside I see is that, at least with how the T side of Inferno worked out for 100 Thieves, they're just going to hit their shots and they're going to be able to entry onto the site. We see this big stack up over towards A. We have at least some sort of defense to be pulled off here out of TYLOO. Even rotating a player back in, trying to boost. Let's potentially see over the smoke. A little bit worried though with these SGs and what we can see 100 Thieves do with it. You can see Azure trying to lead the charge, looking for the first shot. He's going to spot out Zeta here, I would imagine. Zeta smartly enough just backs away. The utility is really not there for TYLOO though, so if the bomb does get put down with the 2 smokes that 100 Thieves have, it's going to be a tough time, and Zeta's looking to stop that from happening. He takes Azure down.
The trade ball come in, rifle also retrieved by JKS, which I don't think is a downgrade by any stretch of the imagination. They've got to get rid of somebody if they are going to be able to get this bomb down, however, and they failed at that miserably. Finally, JKS will pick up one more, but he's now the only man left. SG in hand. He is normally the clutch king of this 100 Thieves side, but he's only got 15 seconds to do it. I don't really know how he hopes to survive, and now they know where he is. Freeman able to close out the round while jumping up, and that'll be TYLOO retrieving a Krieg and getting themselves a second onto the board.
He threw the M4 to somebody, but he didn't switch in time, so he actually keeps the SMG into the next round, which I guess maybe he didn't even want the M4, considering this is going to be the perfect weapon to use against 100 Thieves when all they have is these pistols. But the bomb not being planted, 100 Thieves missing out on a little bit of money here. And so far, not a bad start here for TYLOO. I mean, again, I didn't really know what to expect. I think if you look on past history, like you've mentioned, it should be going 100 Thieves' way. But TYLOO definitely looked relatively strong here on the start. It's just, for me, how long can they maintain?
Oh, that nade. Actually not going to do as much damage as I thought. Almost kills off Liaz. This is a round where there's barely anything, of course, for 100 Thieves, just trying to reduce the amount of money that TYLOO were able to make going into their next buy round. And if they can get a bomb plant, that would be nice, but I don't really see any way that that should be a possibility. Just playing very passive. They know that TYLOO thus far have been relatively aggressive over onto this B site at least, which, well, it will actually be fairly annoying later into the game if they continue to take this much map control away. The only worry would be is if you see 100 Thieves go for a faster play, they can get quite close before they can actually get as deep as they are. But it's nice from Freeman, just cleaning things up It's going to be a flawless round as well for the CT side, meaning their money will finally build up a little bit. But this is where the pressure really begins. Lots of utility going to be picked up, rifles across the board, and 100 Thieves with their first proper buy.
Yeah, keep in mind that one of the rounds TYLOO did win was against just the 2 SGs out of 100 Thieves and then the pistols to follow up with. So the first big gun round, as you're mentioning, but we're seeing the 2 SMGs, 3 SMGs still held on to for TYLOO. So going for that coveted bonus round here. Now as they have the funds to invest yet again to the next round, and the play coming very quickly over towards the B side. Nice little nade comes through. Doesn't do any damage, though. And JK's not going to work his way up. Use the advantage of his weapon. He's going to... I think he's spot out. Yeah, he's definitely going to spot him out now. Looking to push up. A little smoke to come in to buy some time. And actually just leaving JKS here by his lonesome.
Yeah, just seeing if their star player can basically feel out the round for them and get an opening pick. They are still just waiting back patiently. Nice nade dropping onto JKS, and that's one real advantage that the CTs do have here, is they have a lot of utility. The only issue is there's not been much of a rotation at all. They're just dedicating these 2 players still in towards the B site. A second smoke will go down to hold the T's for that little bit longer. And in the meantime, there is some patient play into mid as well, just holding to see if there's going to be any level of aggression coming out from the CT side, but this is where they push. Gratisfaction making his move. He's got to be careful he doesn't get shot from behind. In fact, it's going to be Freeman to just win that duel outright, and they've surpassed Attacker, who's still just holding on. JKS, however, picks up one, and there is that push into mid coming out from Azza. A little bit delayed to catch off Summer and leave somebody with not much left to do. Even still, a kill or 2 here. They come back in with a solid buy in the next round. And this may not be too much of an issue.
Like we said before, just a kind of bonus round here for TYLOO. I do like how 100 Thieves were able to bait out pretty much every smoke on the B site. So they had a relatively clean push, if I can use my damn words. And somebody, if he only knew that Azra's on the side of him so low on HP. So if you can upgrade to an SG here, would be phenomenal and really kind of control the economy of what 100 Thieves have going into round 5.
Yeah, for the CTs, this bonus round has not been too bad, but this extra kill would be everything. Oh, not if you do that. Was that a scroll wheel jump? That looked like a mistake. Definitely didn't mean to jump there, but instead, it's a free kill for Azza.
I'm just imagining like Scooby-Doo and him just going, ghost, and just jumping. No, but yeah, a little unfortunate. We saw that happen yesterday as well. I can't remember the player off the top of my head. I don't know who it was. Oh, well, doesn't matter. 100 Thieves take the first round. And now we go into the full buy by the TYLOO. They got the op on Zeta. I actually really curious to see what he could do on this map as well, because there's so much possibility on the CT side to float around from like middle to B to A ramp as well. If he can get himself going, he can really put some pressure onto the Thieves here.
Already. Aggressive push up ramp coming out from Jacob. Zeta is going to be around that area as well, just looking for the peak further down. He is actually going to get the kill. Initially, Jacob, well, fairly easy trade, because I don't think somebody expected anybody to have pushed that far forward that early into the round. They're going to go hunting for Zeta as well, but he'll be able to escape, fall back with the support of Summer. They do have to be careful, of course, because that wall is very much, well, I was going to say not bulletproof, but it doesn't matter. Zeta goes peeking into Jacob anyway. Already with 2 opening picks to his name, he's looking for a little bit more, just trying to take this round all on his own. Summer is going to be just around the corner, and he finds another kill. 3 for Jacob already in this round, and leaves just 2 remaining, Freeman and Attacker, to try and hold on. Freeman, at least on the right side of the map, his teammates so very far away, and just trying to fight some of these oncoming players. He's got all the information available to him. It's going to be how long it takes his teammate to get there, and I think it's too little too late. In fact, it didn't even look like he was rotating.
I think they kind of knew it was going to be over. I mean, if Jacob can just walk up, get 3 kills like that, like what do you do? Like you if anything, you need to trade it 1 for 1. Zeta unfortunately getting caught. I mean, he had the first kill of the round on the Azure. They had the man advantage, and then was it Summer or somebody?
I think it was somebody pushed through that smoke.
Yeah, I don't know if he kind of like miscalculated where he was within the smoke, because as we saw, he like got on the edge of it, and then obviously you're not gonna be able to see when you're inside the smoke. And Jacob's like, all right, well, this is, you're not gonna miss those shots, right?
A bit of a misplay. And yeah, it ended up with just being more of a domino effect, where one player makes a mistake, the others try and fix it, and they also fall to the same fate as well. Great round, of course, by Jacob, but now we look back towards what the CT side are going to have to offer, and they have almost handed 100 Thieves away right back into the driver's seat. It's just going to be a similar scenario to what we saw on the previous half, where they're going to have a weird monetary position. Attacker's going to have that one rifle, and if they do want to go for an AWP into the next round, they are going to need to double save. Now, considering his start in this map, I could understand it a little bit better, but Zeta definitely wasn't the player to watch when it came to TYLOO in the previous map. So I do wonder if they may just have to go for a rifle round. Also, being so dedicated to having your AWP, it's going to be difficult. We are going to see the triple boost in, though. At least gives information. This is a really nice boost as well. Gratisfaction, there's nothing he can do about this. A free kill, but Jacob snaps up. Gets a free one back. Obviously tried to kill the players a little bit lower down, but that is a worthwhile trade. It means that there's no longer attacker with the Kevlar and the rifle. There is going to be the peek coming back in from somebody, though. A nice shot with the Deagle, and some are peeking around the corner. They've retrieved another gun, and Liaz is going to get tagged relatively low, but instead he sprays down two with the support of Jacob to add in the third. And Freeman, well, there's two players that would die to a dink. Can he find either?
Oh, I don't think Jacob spotted him there, but now with the shots being countered, he's going to know exactly where Freeman's going to be. It's a little bit of chip damage here or there, but realistically, he should not be able to close out this round, especially with no kit in hand. And I mean, honestly, that wasn't a terrible round for TYLOO, considering 100 Thieves' economy isn't it's necessarily the strongest. I mean, you got Azra at 1,700. You still have a couple players on 3 to 5K, but just whittle them away with, you know, like limited investment. And that actually could have been a lot closer, too. Like, that Liaz spray down from ramp, if they're able to finish him off, like, that could have been a situation. TYLOO maybe could have been able to pull off the round, or at least continue to hurt the economy further. But that's still going to be 100 Thieves tying things up at 3 apiece either way. And we're going to see TYLOO invest into this. Okay, so no op coming in.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that. I think in the last map, they really did gamble too much on how much impact that AWP was going to have. So making sure that they at least come up with a few buys. Of course, no incendiaries, so their stopping power is going to be limited. And attack is going to get all the way down again. An opening kill coming up. Can he get away before the trade? Yes, he can, just about. So that's multiple rounds now. And this is something that we did not see when it came to Inferno. They were losing every single battle on their CT side. It was entries left, right, and center coming out from 100 Thieves, but the aggression from this side just seems to be working out from them at the moment. And I don't think 100 Thieves are necessarily used to teams being this aggressive. However, Liaz, smart utility usage, forces attacker into the open. Freeman gonna have to do something here, and Jacob is just flying high. Headshot after headshot. Sight now taken. Summer, I'm not even sure what he was attempting to do there. He knew there was a minimum of 2, maybe 3 players on the site. If you're going to go for it, wait for your team.
This is where things are starting to get scary, I think, if you're a TYLOO fan. Because 100 Thieves are starting to pick up momentum. They won 9 rounds straight on Inferno.
Something like that.
Because they finished off 7th first half. Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, they lost the pistol, won everything else.
And now you're seeing now, I mean, the momentum's building for them too. They're starting to look way more consistent these rounds. They're keeping like 3 players alive in a lot of these rounds as well. TYLOO going to go for a timeout to talk some things over. I mean, they do have the 2 rifles. They potentially could force up to help.
I think the only thing that's giving me at least a little bit more hope for TYLOO here is the fact that at least some of these rounds, there have been positives. Like the aggression they've been pulling off to find openers.
Yeah.
Like the pistols have been able to do far more damage, whereas on Inferno, they were basically on like 16K for almost every single player when it came to the 100 Thieves economy, because they just weren't dying. They were just able to run into sites and basically clean things up. And it was only really like, oh, I killed someone with a nade after the round was done, or just something like, it didn't matter in the grand scale of the rounds. Whereas this, at least we're seeing some initiative out of TYLOO. It might just be because it's a map they don't play, so normally the counter to that is, okay, we're not going to be able to hold against full-on execute, so let's try and battle versus the opposition. The only issue is, of course, that most of the time these kills are getting traded, but if they can get away with them a little bit more, do some damage as they have been, it will at least be a positive if things do continue in the fashion they are.
Somebody's pushing so far up, though, over towards the A site. Grass Fashion's going to kill him off before he gets a single kill. Zeta's going to be there as well with the M4. They weren't really even in a position, I think, to kind of support each other there. I don't know if Zeta was trying to throw a flashbang to allow that to happen, but he still has 2 flashes on him, so clearly that didn't happen. And maybe that goes back to the communication problems this team's going to have when not everyone on the team can speak the same language. Flashbang comes through, Zeta's able to get the first kill on Jacob. Nice little shot out of him, but if Summer can pick this up, it might have a good chance for them. Unfortunately, Grass Faction's still able to lock that one down, and now Freeman's left alone. And what the last 2 rounds, they survived with 3 players, potentially going to survive with 4 here for 100 Thieves. And that 16K is starting to get closer to that point here.
Yeah, that was a much better round as well from 100 Thieves. I think they've started to realize that there's normally one sort of gimmick in these rounds from TYLOO, and if they can get past that, things from there on seem to fall apart. This round was basically just somebody going for a Hail Mary play of, okay, I'm just going to kill everyone on ramp, and yeah, he didn't have much support at all, so not the best round. Again, it wasn't a purchase, so now we actually get the investment up for TYLOO. This is where we can see actually a double AWP setup thrown in, so clearly feeling that they need to be working those picks a little bit better. Summer, maybe with just a decent spawn as well to go for the aggression, but instead Zeta is going to be gone in mid within the first few seconds of the round. And in the meantime, again, this ramp control just goes in favor of the T's. Azza with a great shot to clear out one, but he can't quite capitalize, and Freeman is actually able to get 2 back. A bit of a surprise considering how things have gone so far, but this time the all-out aim duels have actually come into the favor of the CT side. However, this has come with a price, and that price is that this B site has been somewhat abandoned. I don't know if they'll know how far up JKS could have got, and I think this might be a surprise, although Attacker does seem to be peeking both of these angles, unfortunately, just far too clean for JKS, and they now get this 2v2 after plant position with the CTs as far away as humanly possible.
Both coming from the same angle as well, so at least be able to return a frag onto each other. You can see that 100 Thieves really don't expect this to be coming as well as they're boosting a player in towards middle. Leah's going to spot out at least one. JKS now in a prime position to punish them for this. But can he pull off the shots? Freeman will be the first to challenge. JKS takes now with the headshot. He backs off as well, knowing that the last player is going to be here. He has to go for a very long run, though, to get back towards his bomb. Somebody going for the defuse. He's actually going to try to stick it out, and what happens there? Somebody picks up the kill. JKS fluffs his shot, and somebody should be able to take TYLOO up to 4.
It was very close in the end, but yeah, that seemed like JKS actually did everything right. Managing to find the kill back onto the player that killed his teammate, even baiting one into the bomb plant, and the Molotov was actually missed. It was thrown over the top of the window, so he was able to get through it without a problem, but just fluffed his shots in the end. So normally the man to, well, you basically bet on him every time he's in those clutch situations, especially there, but I guess everybody makes a mistake every once in a while, so TYLOO are going to be able to get around off the back of it. The issue they're having is they don't have that bank to go back on, so you can already see an SMG has to come into a mix. Their first buy round that they pulled up in a while had a double AWP setup, so that's why Zeta's in such a bad position. Utility on the remaining players is fairly minimal as well. Like Freeman has nothing left after just 20 seconds in the round. Attacker with a singular smoke, so this is all just pointing towards another round coming back for 100 Thieves, but we'll have to see. They've also managed to get mid control fairly easily.
I think there was like kind of a spot out of TYLOO, and the immediate force back once he did spot out a player crossing to get a little bit of distance on them. Somebody's still trying to hold this angle though, and he's going to have a lot of company here in a few seconds. He luckily has the right weapon for it. Hopefully he plays this one smart. Yeah, spots out 2 more players, backs away. You can see all 5 players at 100 Thieves looking to head over towards A. There's really not a big stack at all here for TYLOO either. They got the opportunity to go for the quick rotates if they need to. Poor Cone.
So far, just a battle of the spam who can do as much damage to the wood as possible. Now the smokes are going to fall. Counter utility being expended by somebody, but I wonder what he's actually going to do behind it, because for now, all this smoke does is just delay some of their own incendiaries. That really is a bit of an off-putting sight when one of your teammates throws a Molotov into the smoke that you just put down. If anything, it just helped Jacob plant the bomb. So now they have to try and get that a little bit closer. A secondary smoke thrown in. Jacob, I don't know if he knows that somebody is this close, but Liaz has his back. And now Jacob can just pounce from his position, looking for a little bit more, but is met with Freeman, who comes close to finishing off JKS, but not quite able to. Nice shot from Summer, but still, he is left alone. The trades coming in each time he finds a frag. Well, now the bomb just tick it away as they're going to walk in to close it out. 100 Thieves get their 6th. And TYLOO, they're going to be back to rags.
Kind of a shame for them, too, considering they won the round prior. But then that was a one-player survival, right? So they didn't even keep a lot of guns. They had to reinvest into the last round. And now you're seeing the rewards. I find it hard to say rewards of that, unfortunately. They don't really have anything to use into this round. They have some pistols, a little bit of Kevlar as well. Maybe they can catch them off by getting aggressive in a direction. I mean, the B push wasn't too bad for them. And we know 100 Thieves, this is the first time they got super aggressive towards ramp right off the bat. Attacker needs to hit some shots here. Jake has been so deadly from his angle so many times, and Jake has to just watch the flank. He's going to spot out Zeta. That's going to be him now down. Man advantage for 100 Thieves. And Jake just knew was inside the smoke, but it doesn't seem to matter. He still gets a double either way. And it comes down to Freeman now against 4.
Yeah, and we now seem to be back into what worried me before in the last map was these pistol rounds, it's a kill, if that. And then they're just able to build up the economy that they just lost from losing a round. So 100 Thieves looking firmly in the driver's seat. They've won, what, 7 out of the last 8 rounds, which could, well, maybe not. Something like that. Something like that. Either way. I am correct. I second guessed myself. I don't know why I did that. Always believe in yourself. 7-4. Double upset Apache going to come back in again. And in all honesty, in the previous time they pulled it out, it didn't do much damage. Like, Summer got aggressive over onto the ramp. And in fact, this time it's going to be Zeta. So a slight change in position. They're going to put the second AWP still into mid, boosted up into the window. What? Okay, it was actually Gratisfaction that got that kill. I thought it was a snap out from JKS, but even still, able to pick off both players as they look to get a little bit aggressive. And once again, Freeman's going to be left alone on this A site. They really are struggling to hold on to it.
Tom, that would have been a Frozen level snap back at the Pro League when we were casting this map with them.
Was that
You called Rops. Was it Rops then?
Rops.
Okay, and you called it perfectly about how much of a robot he is.
Yeah, the man's a beast. I'm a big fan.
Well, it's still 100 Thieves, all 5 players left alive. They had less alive when they're up against just the pistols out of TYLOO. And again, the economy they've got, so much money. Freeman, well, he's going to free fall. Down to the streets here on Vertigo, and now Zeta with the op. Saving it would be ideal. 100 Thieves have the money to chase him down, and it doesn't matter if they have a lot of HP or a little.
Azza not going to give him anything as he looks to round the corner. Interestingly, if there are people who are not a Vertigo fan, you can, of course, switch over to the A stream where they are also playing Vertigo. And interestingly, at the moment, first map 16-14 in favor of Mad Lions, and I think it is now Mad Lions also currently in the lead 6-3 on Vertigo as well. So
against Virtus Pro?
Yeah, against Virtus Pro. So they're looking, of course, as well to fight for their survival. At the moment, 100 Thieves are doing a good job of that, at least. We expected them to beat TYLOO, but it seems like the fashion they're doing it in is so clean as well. And Jacob has just been an absolute monster. Like, he's pushing into angles with no flashbangs, no real smokes to go alongside him, and he's just finding kill after kill after kill. Azza is eventually going to be overwhelmed by a YOLO play coming out. And actually, Jacob's now going to fall as well. That's an AK into the hands of Summer. Definitely not had the best match so far, but they're getting into positions which are catching off 100 Thieves. This aggression finally paying off. We've seen the patience of the Thieves in previous rounds, which has worked for them, but maybe jumping the gun a little bit here. Gratisfaction going to be pushing in with JKS. Summer will open things up, but he doesn't or didn't know where JKS currently is. And this time, no, again, he comes close, but it's not going to be the clutch. TYLOO went around out of very, very little, just a few pistols invested, a bit of Kevlar alongside it, but they've got themselves their 5th round onto the board.
They're only able to save the one weapon, though, unfortunately, so money's going to be a little bit tight later on. Investing into the op yet again for Zeta. Let's go for the singular op this time, however. But 8-5, not a bad start here for 100 Thieves. I mean, TYLOO, you take these next 2 rounds, all right, you got a chance on the T side, because their T side looked 1,000 times better than their CT side when we saw Inferno. But how good their T side will be here on a map that we're not really too sure how well-versed they are on. It's going to be a little bit of a different story. And with the smokes being used out of TYLOO, they're going to stop Jacob from getting aggressive off the bat towards A.
Well, the other issue is as well, on this side of the map, at least, we saw Zeta in the early rounds, which they managed to win, performing well. He's fallen off, and going into the T side with an AWP is going to be tough. Once again, though, another opening pick. In fact, 2 coming up for them. The issue for TYLOO is this has happened multiple times. This has happened maybe even in the majority of rounds, but they've just not been very good at holding onto it. It seems like 100 Thieves are just very, very good at finding that spot in the defense. And at the moment, that spot seems to be the B site. Once again, JKS is going to open it up on his own. That bomb planted by Azza. And it's the experienced members of this roster which are going to be sat back on this site. Teammates for such a long time defending each other off as JKS gets his 3rd kill of the round. Looking to try and do it all on his own. Just holding a slight headshot angle. He even has the Molotov to try and delay them even further. Summer looking to try and peek back in. Both players are already tagged. The lead for the flashback comes in for Azza, and JKS is going to get the ace. A complete cleanup from him, some support along the way. But these are the sort of rounds we love to see from JKS. And it's good to see him back and performing again today.
Just look how excited he looks after getting that ace.
The funny thing is, I bet that's how he actually looked as well on
exactly.
the camera.
That's why I'm confident in saying that.
Yeah, another kill. You know, it wasn't tough. I had a good day today. If he wants me to do his interview for him, I'm down.
Just that would be... I think most people would fall asleep for that kind of interview. But 9-5, 100 Thieves looking to close out with double digits. Freeman trying to get aggressive, gets dropped by Azza though. Azza in the meantime has taken a chunk himself. But yeah, I mean, that's the Justin Savage we're talking about, right? This is the JKS who can put up some ridiculous numbers when it comes to this weapon. He had a couple of missed clutches earlier on. Missed, whatever. He had a couple of 1v1s that he wasn't able to land out on.
He was saving it.
But he died.
No, he was
saving it for that clutch.
Round.
Gotcha.
It's just powering up.
Yeah, that's what I do as well. Whenever that first ace comes. It's taken years of saving.
Well, this round is just peak after peak, which has handed 100 Thieves multiple different kills. I think the main rounds that TYLOO have been able to win is just in a similar fashion to what we are seeing in this one, where it just works out, though. They managed to catch some of the players looking the wrong way. It's not been a very methodical CT side, that's for sure. Zeta, hoping he can try and do something above the smoke. Not going to be able to connect his 2nd shot. And, well, now that the bomb's planted and we can see the fallback from 100 Thieves, they don't really need to face versus any of these players. I think for now it's just going to be patient play. Jacob wanting to pad those stats even further, something he's been doing very well so far. It's so clean with the shots he's able to hit. Zeta already low, and okay, that one wasn't as clean as the rest, but who really cares? 10-5. Fairly dominant half after the pistol loss coming up for 100 Thieves. The question is there any life left in TYLOO? We'll find out after a short break.
Champion waking inside of me. It's set in motion, the legends spoken. This is my moment. Can't break my focus, know where I'm going. This is my moment. Where you see me coming, better run for cover. 'Cause I'm not slowing down. Never going under. I survived the survive the pain, I know it made me stronger. They're looking at us, an audience. Keep telling us what we can do, but here we are, showing them, making them wish they were you. We've heard the most when it comes to this. Yeah, every shade of blue, but don't even care what they all say. They think we're out of control. Yeah, truth be told, we know it. It's just the way we live. We own it. 'Cause stop, we love the thrill. We know it. It's just the way we live. We're grown-up kids. We love the thrill. They're looking at us, an audience. Keep telling us what we can do, but here we are, showing them, making them wish they were.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice 2020 Masters Championship. This is 100 Thieves up against TYLOO as we're into the second half of our second map of the series. 100 Thieves just 6 rounds away from sending TYLOO home and advancing further on into the tournament. But let's see, though, if TYLOO on the T side can bounce back here and take us to a map 3.
Yeah, the real worry for me here is on the T side of Inferno, at least. It's a map that they play and practice quite regularly. They now go into the T side of a map we haven't really seen them too much in officials. So this is where 100 Thieves should really show their dominance. Either way, it's going to be an aggressive push towards this B site early into the round. Somebody leading the charge, but is met by Liaz. He runs out of bullets, but somehow still manages to survive and comes back. A third kill for him, 4 for Liaz. And it's left all onto Summer. There should have been no way he survived that round. But instead, Summer is now left in a 1 versus 5. This is not the start that TYLOO were hoping for going into their first round of the second half.
Tom, I got a question for you. Why do you always get to cast the good plays? There's always these like stand-up plays that happen. You're always talking at the time.
Because I deserve them.
That's true. It's you have some sort of deal.
Deal with the devil.
Yeah. Well, Summer's going to get the first of 5 that he needs in total. I would imagine if you're 100 Thieves and you lose this round after Liaz getting the 4 kills like that, you're going to be a little bit deflated. Let's see. Now Liaz is looking for the ace. Gets the tag. We already saw JKS get his own ace. Is Liaz actually going to charge him forward and go for it himself? Oh, man, look at all 3 players sitting here on the staircase as well. No chance for Summer. And 100 Thieves will take the pistol round.
Yeah, I don't know how he managed to get away with that, especially after running out of bullets. He actually goes back around the corner and ducks just in case they do try and get the headshot, but he wasn't closed down fast enough. And Liaz, a fantastic 4K to kick off this second half. Exactly what they need going into this. And while now the T side, they might actually just have to take the option of saving everything they've got just because they didn't get many kills, so it doesn't even give them an opportunity to even drop anything over. And you don't want to be going for a force buy into the second half when there is the potential that you will then only get 1 buy.
Oh, no. Bomb spotted. Oh, okay. All right. I was getting a little bit worried seeing them go up the ladder there right into another fire, but Jake was there to pick up the reins here for Azur. Now it's just all down to somebody against 3. They've done a little bit of damage with really not much invested out of TYLOO. I think it was like 1 deagle, if I'm not mistaken. And there you go. 100 Thieves get themselves up to 12.
Yeah, a few players dropped at least, which is not bad in the grand scale of things. If there was going to be any way that TYLOO will be able to bring this back, they're going to have to reset the economy of 100 Thieves. At the same time, we now look at the investment coming up for the Aussie side. And in all honesty, you look at the amount of rifles they have going into a round that realistically that's the main advantage that TYLOO should have. I wonder if they're actually going to be able to do anything here. Going for a peek over, it's going to be Liaz again. He's just running riot at the moment. He's going to kill off somebody very early into the round. The aggression of JKS gets that UMP right up in the faces, and he comes up with a good pop flash coming out from Granite's faction to leave his opposition blind. maybe a little bit overly aggressive though. Jacob and Gratisfaction go down, trying to push onto Summer. They've at least given a small chance in here. The bomb's still dropped on the floor, so not going to be in the best place for the Tees, but you can see the retreat that's come out from JKS, not wanting to fight this any further. The question is, do they expect Azza? At this point of the round, do you really expect anybody to be here? JKS literally just peeked to give his teammate the free roam to try and clear this out. I don't know if Freeman is going to check this whatsoever, but he does! Good read coming out from Freeman. Even still, though, Liaz is just carrying on his reign of terror. 7 kills in 2 rounds. Dirty.
Insane stuff from him, honestly. I mean, he pushed early in this round, got an initial kill as well. Able to clutch it out in the last spray down on the 2. Liaz is flying high at the moment, and why wouldn't you? 13-5, 100 Thieves again, trying to continue on in this tournament. The loser of the series does go home, unfortunately. Both teams having very rough first matches as well. 100 Thieves, it was like 16-2, 16-3 against G2. TYLOO, it was like 16-2, 16-9, or 16-3, 16-9 up against Mousesports. Looking to prove themselves here, and yeah, it seems like 100 Thieves have just definitely woken up here in the series. We're seeing a lot of great individual performances. You see Jacob on the T side, how aggressive he was, just running through people. JKS with a couple of these clutches, and the ace, of course, he pulled off. Liaz on the CT side is just a whole nother beast. And TYLOO, and they got the scout and the pistols, but they're gonna need to hit some ridiculous shots here, and Azer's just lining them up perfectly. Oh my gosh, Freeman talked about hitting some crazy shots. He gets the first. And Summer's able to respond onto Jacob, so relatively equal trade, at least in middle, but they're still going to be down a man, and they still have not recovered a weapon.
Well, interestingly as well, JKS is already wandering around the map. Liaz still holding on. Oh, is JKS going to find the bomb? That could be a bigger problem. It's going to come down to timing. Summer definitely aware that there could be someone there, but perfect timing, okay. That is that issue of the first shot hitting the head and then the second one just disappearing. It is the magic of Counter-Strike, and Liaz comfortably closes out another round. 14-5, this is where we get our last-ditch effort for TYLOO. Their survival start must be now. 9 rounds behind, needing to, well, win every single one from here on out just to win the map. Or one less if they're going to get it to overtime, but I don't think there's many believers in that. Of course, this is their first major tournament since creating this new roster. Language barriers still being an issue as well. There's plenty of excuses for this TYLOO side at this point, but I don't think really any of them matter. 100 Thieves have been dominant pretty much throughout this series. Okay, sure, the first half of the first map was relatively close, but from then onwards, we really haven't seen enough from TYLOO to challenge Titan of 100 Thieves. And well, going into this round, Gratisfaction feeling confident, going to be facing all the way down the ramp. You could see somebody just watching in case anybody is going to be making a push towards this B site, but not really likely. Zed are actually going to be the one leading the charge. He's definitely slowed down from the first few rounds we saw of this map, and understandable. It hasn't been a great performance across the board. Freeman peeking out into mid is going to meet Jacob once again, and Zeta now tries to sneak through.
And they're just walking straight into the site. Liaz, there's a player there. Liaz actually going to fall. Azer's not going to expect that to be this far pushed up. He at least takes one, though, before he does fall, and the B site will be taken. Will the bomb get put down? You see still a lot of time left here for 100 Thieves to rotate players over. We can see Summer finally make his way in towards B, trying to cover his back as well. And 100 Thieves, they're going to have all 3 players here for the retake, and utility, not too bad. 2 smokes, incendiary for 100 Thieves, and to defend TYLOO, they do have at least a nade, so they can soften up some players and a flashbang to set each other up. And Zed is the one with both of those pieces of utility, and he's the one pushed up the farthest.
Oh dear, that's him dead. He tries to throw out a nade just to do something before he falls. A 1-by-1, they get executed. Summer though, that's 2 and a third. How does he clean that one up? A ridiculous play coming out from Summer, and saves them in this tournament, at least for now. It really did have to be something of that standard if they were going to survive. And while 100 Thieves, they're going to force right back into this. They want to really challenge versus what is going to be a low economy T side, but even still, I don't know how he managed to do that.
Deal with the devil. Thing is, I still don't want to count 100 Thieves out. Like, if you're TYLOO, you cannot underestimate them in this round at all. with how like dominating they've been so far on this map. With how individual performances and individual plays have been able to net them some of these rounds. They have to really respect this. They're gonna see the pistols come through. Azer's gonna get the first kill. It's Galil now down. Really wants to pick it up as you see Summer trying to protect it. Smart play out of him. Man advantage to 100 Thieves. And again, they still have a decent amount of utility to work with. Got 3 players back towards A, and it seems like that's the direction that TYLOO is going to be heading towards. Swing out. Oh, sprayed through as well. Takes down Zeta. The Ops now down, and luckily Attack is able to respawn. There's still going to be 2 more players left alive in sight.
He does at least manage to pick off one. Oh no, that looked like another scroll wheel issue. Azer has found another in the meantime, and Summer, he has to clutch it out once again, but he's already got himself 2. It's only left onto Liaz. He's guessed it perfectly, and back-to-back 1v3s out from Summer. Granted, that one was a little bit easier in terms of the HP and the player's weaponry, but even still, 100 Thieves have got to be kicking themselves. 2 chances to basically end this match. And Summer has saved them twice, and it is starting to get really worrying, the fact that he's having to do this so often, especially when you look at the last map. The 2 players I would have highlighted, somebody and Attacker, they're now the 2 worst performing players in the whole server.
Damn, Tom. No, it's true, 100%. And we've seen, again, even for the likes of TYLOO's individual performance, really standing out for them. You see the pistol rush coming through towards A ramp, and that's going to be cleaned up relatively quickly. Zeta gets himself a quad kill. Let's pad his stats a little bit more, almost up to even at 17 and 18. But 100 Thieves going back into the buy round, and still, all of these rounds seem to be so close, bar the last one. It was Pistols invested 2 rounds before. They had the 1v1, then they had a 3-on-1 that they were not able to close out. And TYLOO, like, they're having to work for every single one of these rounds.
Yeah, and the issue is as well is if that's in, like the first one, that would definitely give you a boost. But the second one, knowing that that's a round that was a chance to really build up some cash, maybe not so much. An aggressive push in, that's the bomb. Freeman's just handed it. He's delivered it to Jacob, and he's going to get 2 to try and defend it. Even still, though, there's been a return from TYLOO. It's not like they're in a detrimental position just yet. The Dink will hit onto somebody. He is the only man actually trying to push this site, hoping to try and do it all on his own. He's got 2 players up against him, Liaz and JKS, 2 high-flying players on the side of 100 Thieves. Zeta will trade one back. It comes onto Liaz. And now, Gratisfaction on the flank. Attacker so desperately low, just 6 HP to his name and not looking in the right direction. He's not going to expect Gratisfaction to be here. And finally, they win one of these clutch situations. Granted, probably the easiest one Gratisfaction's ever going to have to face. Yeah. But even still, that's their 15th round. That's the economy of TYLOO. Actually, not in that bad a state considering how things have gone. And the CT side, in fact, are going to be the ones really suffering financially.
Yeah, you can see there 3 1v1 fights happening, finally working out, as you mentioned, for 100 Thieves. 3 players on 20 kills or more here. JKS, Liaz, and Jacob at 27. I feel like Jacob's got a majority of those on the T side, funny enough.
And an entry roll as well.
Yeah.
That's always one of those like stats where if your entry fragger is top of the board, you should win the game. Like if you don't, then you're doing something severely wrong. So him being top is just wonderful for them. They can basically have an advantage in almost every single round, and you can't really ask anything more from Jacob because it's not like he's been handed these kills on a platter. He's had to earn every single one.
Well, we see Gratisfaction still looking to hold aggressive here. Pretty much by himself over towards the A side. Needs to be very careful because if he falls, they could just rush and flood straight in. It's going to be JKS to pick it up. As he's towards the back of sight with just the ump, though. Jacob there to help assist, too. And this all goes back to how close that last round was. Just Gratisfaction surviving. Now Summer's going to peek around. He gets himself a kill. And TYLOO looking good to get this bomb down at the A site.
JKS has managed to avoid the Molotov, though. They throw a second one in, but he avoids that too. Just dancing around the flames, it eventually catches him. So much over on that side, and TYLOO have managed to bounce right back, so economy again becomes an issue for 100 Thieves. That really is expected with how the last few rounds have actually gone. Still, gonna take themselves their first pause of the match. Wasn't really needed up until this point. Just going to try and slow the momentum of TYLOO, which is starting to build a few big clutches back to back. few standout plays, some confidence being built for the different players on their side, and 100 Thieves basically knowing, okay, we got to end this before it gets scary.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to give momentum to TYLOO, especially if everyone else can start hitting the shots. You talked about the two bottom fraggers of somebody, an attacker, and they're starting to hit their stride just a little bit here, though, as we saw Summer, the back-to-back 1v3s, nets himself the 20 kills that he currently does have. I wonder if 100 Thieves are going to continue to get aggressive. Like, even on Inferno, if we think back to that map, they hardly ever got aggressive. They just waited for TYLOO to come to them. Obviously, Vertigo is going to be much different than a map like Inferno and how you can play out the CT side.
Yeah, I think it's a different case in terms of the A site and how it can be played, because if you give up too much control, it's very, very easy for a bomb plant and then the T's to just fall back. That was the problem with the initial version of the map, is it was so easy to get bomb plants and there wasn't really anything the CTs can do. Now they have the better spawn timing. They can also have that wraparound on the side, which gives them a little bit of extra space and something to hold on to. So it's definitely a better version of the map, but it's not really something you can just give up unless you're very, very confident in your retake, which, I don't know, I don't think too many people are going to be willing to do that. We saw Furia do that in the initial stages of the game. Even still, though, another clean round coming up, of course. As long as TYLOO can continue to get purchases with utility, the amount of money they have in reserve doesn't really matter at this stage because, of course, they can't be reset because the reset would be that flight home.
That is quite a hard reset, though.
Takes some time as well.
Yeah.
I've done that flight a couple of times, and I can't say it's the most enjoyable thing in the world. And I hadn't just been knocked out of a tournament, so definitely gonna be fighting for that.
At least you're not like 6'6" enough to fly that long.
Yeah, but you're always in first class.
I wish.
You demand that from every single employer.
Well, actually, a part of me's in first class. Typically, it's my nose. Let's see, though. 100 Thieves with the M4 spot up.
I remember Jacob using this angle an awful lot in the past. Like we've seen him just hope to peek through the side of the sandbags. It's not something that people always check. I also don't think it's something he's utilized too much so far. JKS, though, he's going to be found out. Molotov bounced into his corner. We've seen both teams do that regularly. And actually, the CT side, after his position is compromised, they all fall back. They all give up that aggressive spot, which I actually quite like. I think if other players had sort of lurked around and almost given opportunities for 1v1 duels, the value of that diminishes quite significantly. And actually, Gratisfaction, he's still in a spot where he can find a lot of information. He's not seeing anyone, so they're now going to dedicate as a further in to this B site, as I think they're starting to realize that this is looking like more of a B play.
40 seconds left. Still some smokes left. Azur's going to pop his down to help delay this as long as they possibly can. It's going to come down to the wire here for TYLOO to get into the site. Azur, look at this playing around the smoke as well, looking to actually charge in. Flashbangs being thrown in, but look how slow they're actually pushing. Liaz gets burned down, relatively low on HP. 20 seconds left, and TYLOO need to get into this bomb set. They need to do it quick. You can see J-Kiss there to help support now. Azur flashed up a little bit here as he turns around, gets 1 kill and 3. Now 4 here for 100 Thieves on the push in, and now it's just TYLOO left with one player. It's Summer who pulled off a 1v3 before, but he can't pull off a 1v4 here. And that'll be 100 Thieves taking the 2-0 and advancing further on into the tournament.